Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day today. My name is Steve. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Today, I'm going to be reacting to the MOT test procedure that you guys have to go through in the UK. While I don't know much of anything at all about an MOT test, I understand that it's some sort of a test that you have to put your car through in order to get it approved to be on the roads in the UK. I also understand that MOT stands for Ministry of Transport, but beyond that, I have no idea what to expect here, guys. I'm also not even sure if you call it an MOT test or maybe you call it a MOT test. Either way, let me know in the comments section what's the proper way to pronounce this. But yeah, guys, this was actually recommended to me in the comments section of a previous video. I've definitely been on a transportation kick of sorts over the last month or so, reacting to numerous videos about transportation in the UK. I'm really just trying to learn everything that I can about what you guys in the UK have to go through if you want to be a driver in the UK. So anyways, guys, enough of my rambling. Let's go ahead and dive in and check out an MOT test procedure in the UK.
The MOT test, Ministry
test.
of Transport, or simply MOT, is an annual test of
Annual?
vehicle safety and exhaust emissions required in the United Kingdom for most vehicles over 3 years old. In Northern Ireland, the equivalent requirement applies after 4 years. More than 23,500 local car repair garages through England, Scotland and Wales are authorized to perform testing and issue certificates. MOT test checks that your vehicle meets road safety and environmental standards. It is an offense to use a vehicle of MOT test age that doesn't have a current test certificate on a public road. You can check the status of your vehicle on this webpage. All you have to do is just enter the registration number of your vehicle. How do a MOT test works?
All right, so I was under the impression that this was probably going to be a test that when you first purchased a vehicle, you had to go and get this test done. But instead, it's something that basically you have to do on an annual basis once your vehicle hits 3 years or 4 years old, depending on if you're in Great Britain or in Northern Ireland. Is that correct? And it's basically some sort of a safety test where they probably check your tires, and then they said something about the environment too. So that's obviously going to be something to do with, well, up here it says the emissions. Wow. Okay. So what happens if you don't get your annual MOT test? Do you get some sort of a fine? Do you potentially lose your license? How exactly does that work? And so I guess basically if you go and something is going to fail this MOT test, you basically aren't allowed to drive the vehicle until you get that thing fixed, I suppose. Here where I live, we don't have any sort of car inspections at all. There's nothing like, just nothing at all. Like we don't have to test emissions, no safety, no nothing. So, this is definitely different from what I have to do here. Basically, all I have to do here is pay my registration fee every year, and that's pretty much it. But anyways, guys, let's continue.
During the MOT, important parts of your vehicle will be checked to make sure they meet the legal standards. You can watch the test from a viewing area, but you are not allowed to interrupt the tester. It isn't the same as having your vehicle serviced and doesn't check its general mechanical condition. The test does not cover the condition of the engine, clutch or gearbox. What car parts are tested
the
in
tires,
the MOT?
gotta be brakes.
These
probably
are some of the important parts of your car that will be checked in the MOT. As you can see, for example, exhaust.
All right, hold on. What are they what are they checking here? Registration plates, tires makes sense, brakes, horn, exhaust system. That was the environmental aspect of it, I suppose. Mirrors make sense. Doors. What exactly are they checking with the doors? Exhaust emissions, tow bar, seats. Wonder what they're checking with the seats. Steering, windshield, electrical. Yeah, most of those make sense to me. I'm curious about like the seats, the doors. I'm not exactly sure what they'll be checking with the doors. Guess make sure they latch closed or something. The bonnet. Is that, I think you guys call what we call the hood, you call the bonnet. So is it basically checking to make sure the bonnet latches. Is that what that is? He'll probably go through that.
Emissions, exhaust system, brakes, tires, wheels, bonnet registration plates, lights, windscreen wipers, seat belts, body,
the trunk?
fuel system, and
I know
much
that's what
more.
the trunk is.
Checking body, vehicle structure, and general items includes that they are free from excessive corrosion or damage in specific areas, and there are no sharp edges likely to cause injury.
Wait, really? Are you serious? So if you've got an older vehicle, and, you know, like in a lot of older vehicles, like, for example, my grandpa, he had a really beat up old pickup truck, you know, he's not trying to, show off or anything, it runs, gets into point A to point B, but it had a lot of rust on it. Now, so that in that case probably wouldn't pass inspection. That's wild, dude. I mean, I guess it could cause injury, I suppose, but like, what is the reason for the free from corrosion? I mean, like if it's just the body itself, it's not affecting the brakes or the tires, or, it doesn't, it's not the mirrors or anything like that. I'm curious, what would be the reason that possibly wouldn't pass inspection if there's some corrosion on the body of the vehicle?
To cause injury. Tow bars will be inspected for secureness, condition, inappropriate repairs, or modification. The MOT tester will also check that the 13-pin electrical socket is working correctly, the speedometer is in good working order, the engine mountings are secure. The fuel system will be inspected to check that there are no leaks, the pipes and hoses are secure and in a good condition. The fuel cap fastens and seals securely. You should make sure that the key is available, as the fuel cap will need to be opened. The vehicle will be inspected depending on the age and fuel type of the vehicle to check that it meets the rules for exhaust emission. Diesel vehicles. The MOT tester will refuse to test your vehicle if they think that the smoke tests any damage your engine. You should tell them at the start of the MOT if you think this may happen. To reduce the possibility of damage and increase the chances of passing, you should keep your vehicle maintained at all times.
What are they doing that it would even remotely possibly damage your vehicle? I don't understand. Anyway, let me know in the comments, guys. I'm not really sure exactly, because I think if they're just testing things, how are they going to damage your vehicle? I don't really understand that.
Have the camshaft drive belt replaced at the recommended intervals. Go for the MOT with a fully warmed up engine. It will produce less smoke and is safer to test, and not tamper with the governor settings. The exhaust system will be inspected to check that it's secure and complete. A catalyst isn't missing where one was fitted as standard. It's without serious leaks and not too noisy.
Okay.
The vehicle will be inspected to check that the mandatory seatbelts are in place. They are suitable for the vehicle. They are in a good condion. They work properly. They are attached securely.
Okay, the seat belt. That's probably what they were talking about with checking the seats earlier, is the seat belts. I didn't even think about that would be something they would be checking just to make sure the seat belts were secure in there. Makes sense, okay.
The malfunction indicator lamps or dashboard warning lights will be checked for the airbags, seatbelt, which remove the slack from a seatbelt in the event of a collision, seatbelt load limiters, which release a small amount of belt when it's too tight. Seats will be inspected to check that the driver's seat can be adjusted. All seats are securely fitted and that seat backs can be fixed in the upright position.
Whoa, the driver's seat can be adjusted. Okay, so like, let's say, for example, you have an older vehicle and for some reason it got stuck and it's broke basically to where it's locked in one single place. But I'm the only one that drives the vehicle, so I don't need it to go back or forth. I got it the exact place that I needed to be. How is that a safety issue if I'm good? It's secure there. I don't need it to go back and forth. I don't understand why it would need to be adjusted in that case. I don't know. That one I don't really understand. The others I pretty much get why, if I'm getting a safety inspection, why they would do that. The emission one, the noise, it kind of makes sense if you're going to, checking to make sure the vehicle is not too noisy or something like that. I can understand that. But the seat being adjusted, that's one I don't really quite understand.
can be fixed in the upright position.
Oh, do they
Doors
mean
will be inspected
the way
to
it
check
moves up
that
and down?
the latch
back
is
and forth?
secure in the closed position. The front doors open from inside and outside the vehicle. The rear doors open from outside the vehicle. Hinges and catches are secure and in
that makes
good
sense.
condition.
Okay.
Mirrors will be inspected to check for the minimum number of mirrors, their condition and security. Indirect vision devices will also inspect it. The vehicle will be inspected to check that the boot or tailgate can be closed properly. Brakes will be inspected to check their condition, including inappropriate repairs or modifications, their operation and performance. The wheels and trims aren't removed as a part of the test. The anti-lock braking system and electronic stability control. Tires and wheels will be inspected to check for condition, security, tire size and type,
that would make sense to me.
tread depth. Spare wheels and tires are not inspected. Registration plates will be inspected to check for condition, secure attachment, color, characters correctly formed and spaced. Lights will be inspected to check their condition, operation including high-intensity discharge and light-emitting diode, the headlamps for cleaning, self-leveling, and security.
All right, so basically if it gets that, you know how headlights sometimes get very kind of, they get foggy to the point that they get very dim. I'm guessing at that point you'd have to get those replaced or professionally cleaned.
Headlamp aim, main beam warning light working. Bonnet will be inspected to check that it closes securely.
Okay,
Wipers
that's
and
what I thought it
washers
was.
will be inspected to check that they work properly, so the driver has a clear view of the road. The windscreen will be inspected to check for condition, the driver's view of the road. Horn will be inspected to check that it works properly, it's suitable for the vehicle. Steering and suspension will be inspected to check their condition, steering oil level, they work correctly. For inappropriate repairs or modification, including corrosion to power steering pipes or hoses, and that the steering lock mechanism works properly. The vehicle identification number will be on vehicles first used on or after 1st August 1980. Your car will be inspected to check that the single VIN is displayed, except of multi-stage built vehicles. Visible electrical wiring and the battery will be checked. How long does an MOT take? An average MOT test takes between 45 and 60 minutes, but there are a couple of other things to take into consideration. First, if your vehicle fails the test and repairs are needed, this will take longer.
Do they usually, if you go to one of these shops to get an MOT test and something fails, if they can fix it on site, will they go ahead and do it? If you like basically say, hey, yeah, go ahead and you approve it. For example, if your horn for some reason didn't work, can they literally just fix that on site so you don't have to actually go leave and then come back for another appointment later? That'd be good. It'd be really annoying if you have certain things that fail and you have to leave and make another appointment later to come back after you get it fixed. So it'd be really cool if they could go ahead and do all that at one time.
A test center isn't allowed to let you drive away a car that has failed an MOT until the problems are fixed.
Wait, so even though this is on an annual basis, I was thinking, okay, so you may be due on September 15th, of every year or something like that. And I assumed like if you went on, you're like going to get this done on September 1st instead of September 15th. If something failed, you could just leave and then come back after you get it fixed. They're not going to let you leave. Oh, wow. So you're going to want to make sure that pretty much everything, works as much as you can tell, because otherwise you're going to possibly be wasting a lot of time. So, wow. Okay. Good to know. That's something good to know. I think if I lived in the UK, I would definitely keep this list. Most of it's pretty self-explanatory, though. I mean, like, does my door latch, does my horn work, do my lights work? I mean, most of that's pretty self-explanatory. But then, there's also things like keep an eye on the tread of your tires and stuff like that as well. Good to know, good to know.
Unless your existing MOT certificate is still valid, or you're taking the car to have the faults fixed. Second, the test might take an hour or less, but even if there aren't any repairs, this doesn't mean your vehicle will only have to be at the garage for 60 minutes. Test centers can require you to drop your vehicle off first thing in the morning and collect it when ready.
Oh, that's annoying.
This means you should be prepared to be without your vehicle for the day. How much does an MOT cost? The Vehicle and Operator Service Agency sets the maximum fee official test centers can charge for an MOT.
Oh, it's not the same everywhere.
It's currently £55 for cars and motor caravans,
so that's the max,
and £30 for motorbikes.
It's not bad.
Many garages charge us less than this, sometimes up to 50% less. Search online for cheap MOT or MOT discount to find out how you can save money on your car's next MOT.
Okay, so that's how some shops get more MOT tests than others, because they'll undercut some of the other people that are charging the max, and they'll charge like $30 or something for a car, or 30 pounds for a car to come in, instead of some other shops might be 40 or 50 or 55 pounds. So that makes sense.
An MOT might also be included in the cost of full service for your car. While servicing your car regularly is a good idea, a service, even if it includes an MOT, is likely to be more expensive than an MOT on its own. Here is top 5 simple reasons for cars failing the MOT test. Nearly 2 in 5 MOT tests fail first time.
2 in 5?
This is because of minor faults the owner could easily have fixed themselves before they paid for the test. Here are some of the ways your car could fail an MOT. Number 1. Screen wash not topped up. This basic task takes minutes, so don't be caught out by it.
Yeah,
Number
that's
2.
pretty simple.
The car was dirty or full of clutter. Clear the mess from the boot and cabin and give the windows and mirrors a quick wipe.
Wait, are you serious? You can fail because your car's dirty? You know, that wouldn't be a big deal with me. I keep my car clean, but I'm just saying, like, you know, like some people don't. You know, some people throw, you know, burger wrappers and drinks and stuff into the passenger floorboard. So if you had, you know, trash in the passenger floorboard, could you literally fail because of that? I mean, obviously I guess they would clean it out. Or maybe he's talking about if you, like, if, for example, in your trunk you have a ton of stuff. But then again, why would that be a safety issue if I carry a bunch of stuff in my trunk? So I'm not really sure exactly what he's talking about there. You know, if you have so much trash to the point that trash is literally rolling under your seat to possibly get in between your feet and the pedals, I can definitely see that being a safety hazard. But, you know, just some trash, I don't know, just some hauling stuff around in my trunk, or, you know, some trash in the passenger seat or passenger floorboard or something. I don't know. That it's got to be something else he's talking about there, because that doesn't even make sense. Because that yeah, I don't know.
Number 3, a registration plate problem. For example, the plate used in incorrect typeface, or was dirty or missing altogether. If you have a personalized plate, make sure it follows rules. Number 4, stickers on the windscreen blocking the driver's view. Make sure anything stuck to the windscreen, like parking permits, is outside the wiper's sweep area. Number 5, lit up warning light on the dashboard. The MOT has included lit up warning lights since 2012. So make sure you know what lit up car warning lights mean, and if you have any, sort out the underlying problem before the MOT.
All right, guys, that was interesting. So that's a lot.
This might take an hour.
You know, like I said, here in Indiana, we don't have any type of inspections for vehicles at all. It doesn't matter if you just buy your vehicle or you've had it for 20 years. It doesn't matter. We just don't have inspections. You know, there was a time, you know, in my home state where we did have annual inspections, but they weren't this involved. It was like you'd go in real quick and it would take like, you know, 10 or 15 minutes, and you had to do it on an annual basis, but it was like basically to make sure your tread on your tires were good, and a couple other, you know, very obvious stuff, but they didn't check, like, they weren't checking seat belts and doors and, you know, like all that other stuff. This is much, much, much more involved than I would have ever guessed it to be. But, you know, most of this, I would say, I agree. Most of this is safety. You know, they really are checking, you know, stuff that would matter to safety. You know, I think, you know, except a couple of these are just like, I'm like, if my seat is secured in place. Does it really matter if can it be adjusted? I mean, that's me. If I'm the only one driving, I don't really see the big deal with that. You know, if someone has some trash in their car, I don't see a big deal with that. Or if they're hauling a bunch of stuff in their trunk. There's a few others here that I don't quite get. You know, the corrosion. You know, I can understand if you've got a vehicle that's so corroded underneath and whatnot that, you know, literally like your axles are corroding to the point that your wheels could potentially come off or something, you know, something crazy like that. But like if you've just got some corrosion on your actual, you know, on the sheet metal of your vehicle, stuff like that, I can't imagine. That's not really a safety issue. I mean, I guess they said if there were sharp pieces, I guess if someone come and rubbed up against your car, you know, yeah, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. Most of these I see, some of them are like, I don't know. But either way, this is definitely something different than I ever have to go through. But this is the type of thing that I would think if you live in the UK, you would definitely keep an eye on before you go in. You're like, I don't want to waste no time doing this. I want to be able to get in there and get out. I'm probably going to wait to a day that I need some kind of service done. You know, if you get oil changes done, you know, I don't know, you know, a lot of people here in the U.S., we do oil changes ourselves. We usually don't even go to a shop to do them. We just do them at home. But if you are going to go somewhere to get an oil change or something like some other service, you know, I would wait to that point to do it so I could save some time and possibly even some money. They might be included in for free. But overall, guys, this was really interesting. But it's kind of surprising. You guys have to do like that's a lot of inspections on an annual basis. But you know, it is mostly safety stuff. So the emission thing, I'm still not exactly sure because they said it was environmental. Were they basically talking? Are they testing to see how much smoke potentially is coming out of a vehicle or something like that? Or are they just basically testing for things more like noise and stuff? Because that noise is an environmental factor as well, because, you know, if a vehicle is noisy, that's obviously going to affect the environment of people around you to a certain extent. We have a lot of noisy vehicles around here, and they can kind of get annoying, especially when I'm trying to make a video. But yeah, guys, anyways, this was awesome, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. Please feel free to recommend things that are about transportation, other things that are, you know, similar or whatnot. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Until next time, peace.